Wendi Mae Davidson was an average Texan woman from an average Texan town. Her family was a religious family with a large farm and many animals. Wendi adored them so much that she wanted to spend her entire life with them. Wendi was now bright and talented. She excelled in sports, academics, and extracurricular activities. People expected her to become a hugely successful veterinarian when she grew up. Wendi graduated from Texas A&M University with a veterinary degree and worked at the Advanced Animal Care Clinic. Mike was from Maine, in the United States. He was an outdoorsy type who enjoyed sports. He aspired to be a truck driver hauling logs after high school. His father, on the other hand, encouraged him to travel the world. As a result, Mike enlisted in the Air Force. Mike was promoted to staff sergeant after several successful deployments. He was tasked with transporting supplies and personnel from the Air Force Base in Texas to Afghanistan. The start of the end. Wendi and Mike met in a bar in 2003 and hit it off right away. They became pregnant as a result of one thing leading to another. They married a few weeks after giving birth to their son, Shane. Even though things moved quickly, from meeting to starting a family in less than a year, life seemed to be going well. They were overjoyed and excited to begin this new chapter. However, even for those who have known each other for a long time, marital life is difficult. It necessitates a great deal of compassion, patience, and trust. The couple had numerous fights, arguments, and disagreements over the months. The atmosphere in the house was always tense, like walking on eggshells. Mike was about to embark on his next deployment. He also wanted to spend time with his family in Maine before leaving. So, on January 16, 2005, the family decided to travel to Maine. The only issue was that Wendi couldn't track down Mike that morning. Despite the strange circumstances, Wendi did not go to the police or go out looking for him. She slept most of the day. No one understood Wendi's actions, motives, or even herself. Mike, Wendi, and her mother insisted, had fled because he did not want to be deployed. However, no one could believe their story. Mike, on the other hand, enjoyed his job and the challenging operations. He would never leave the military without a legitimate reason. Furthermore, Mike's truck, phone, and other belongings remained in the house. Everyone knew he was crazy about that truck. He was not going to leave without it. There was clearly more to this story. Mike was declared AWOL by the Air Force on January 24, 2005. Because he was a military man, the Office of Special Investigations was involved, and they collaborated with local authorities. They searched within a 2-mile radius of the vet clinic for any information on Mike. When that failed, they obtained a warrant to search Wendi's clinic. Following a thorough search, officers copied data from her computer and sent it for analysis. The cops suspected Mike was hiding and Wendi was assisting him. So they installed a tracking device in her car to monitor her movements, and the device detected some unusual activity. Wendi had driven about 20 miles to a ranch and had been there for a while. While this outing appeared to be routine, the police were suspicious. Wendi went to that farm for what reason? Was she there to meet someone, dispose of something, or hide something? The officers contacted the ranch owner right away and conducted a thorough search. They found no trace of Mike. The analysis of the data obtained from Wendi's computer provided the police with a much-needed breakthrough. Her search history revealed that she was involved in her husband's disappearance, if not murder. How does a body decompose in water, was one of her search terms. As a result, the police interviewed Wendi once more. They questioned her about the search and her involvement in Mike's disappearance. While she tried to manage the situation, the police did not believe her lies. They could see the color leave her face. The police were now certain that Wendi was involved in the crime. But they still needed physical evidence, which Wendi was determined to destroy. She dashed to the ranch, but the cops had anticipated her arrival. She left the farm with a frown on her face after cops denied her entry. Wendi called her brother in law enforcement and spilled the beans, or, at least, a portion of them. When she returned home from the clinic, she discovered Mike dead on the floor, she told her brother. Her kids were in another room. Instead of calling 911, she decided to handle the situation herself. She was certain that someone in the family had committed the crime, and it was her responsibility to protect them. Wendi hoped her brother would bail her out of the situation because she was doing it for her family. Her brother, on the other hand, immediately called the police and told them everything he knew. Wendi was arrested after the police recovered Mike's body from the pond. And her demeanor, answers, and reactions were all very disturbing this time. Wendi admitted to putting her husband's body in a cardboard box, loading it into a truck, taking her children with her, and driving to the ranch. And, while she wanted to sink the entire cardboard box, she realized it would dissolve in water. As a result, she strapped some weights to Mike's body and rolled him into the pond. Her children were playing in the car at the time. The cops then questioned Wendi about Mike's 41 stab wounds on his abdomen and chest. And she reasoned calmly that she did it to expel toxins and gases from the body, preventing them from rising to the surface. The officers noticed the pride in her eyes, the smile on her face, and the excitement in her voice. But she only did it to protect her family. Mike died of poisoning from animal tranquilizers found in the vet clinic, according to his autopsy report. Wendi was released on bail before the police received this report. She was determined to destroy the evidence once more. She tried, at least. There was no evidence of tranquilizers when the police searched the clinic. The clinic was immaculate. Nonetheless, they discovered an unusual patient record. Wendi allegedly gave a chihuahua an insane dose of tranquilizer. She claimed she did it for the seizures. However, the sum would have instantly killed the poor creature. That record was sufficient for the police to conclude that Wendi was falsifying records in order to conceal the poison she had concocted with tranquilizers. Before convicting someone, American criminal law considers three factors: means, motive, and opportunity. The autopsy report, evidence tampering records, and Wendi's admission to drowning Mike were all available to the police. And those pieces of evidence took into account both means and opportunity. They still needed a reason, though. The officers were convinced that the motive was monetary. Wendi was aware that military officials were insured for $100,000 at the time. According to the police, the couple did not have a stable marriage. Wendi was dissatisfied with Mike and wanted to leave him. Instead of filing for divorce, she murdered him in order to collect the insurance money. Despite mounting evidence against Wendi, the defense made every effort to overturn the case. They claimed that the tracking device installed on Wendi's car was illegal, and that all information obtained from it was inadmissible. However, the prosecution dismissed their claim, claiming that only the police department, not the OSI, required explicit court orders. And in Wendi's case, it was the OSI who installed the device on her car. Wendi eventually faced charges of up to 99 years in prison. This clearly did not sit well with her. As a result, she pled not guilty. In case you didn't know, pleading no contest means the person claims not guilty but can be proven guilty if a trial is held. Wendi was sentenced to 25 years in prison in 2005. Her parole was denied in 2019, and her next hearing is scheduled for 2024. Wendi maintains her innocence to this day, which Mike's family finds intolerable. The family has several unanswered questions, and they believe that they are being actively denied the justice and peace they deserve. It's tragic, heartbreaking, and downright cruel. What are your thoughts on the Wendi Mae Davidson's case? I really appreciate your input. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Be a part of the Chris Crime Diaries family and hit the subscribe button now.